Meeting to order. At the April Agency Operations Committee meeting, we discussed the possibility of having a special board meeting in June to adopt as emergency rules negotiated rules relating to the allocation of methodologies for the Texas Educational Opportunity Grant Program. We have not received any requests for public testimony, so we will move on to agenda item number 3. Item number 3 is consideration of adopting the Negotiated Rulemaking Committee's recommendation relating to the allocation methodology for TEOG funds at public community colleges. Here to present this item is Dr. Pools, Deputy Assistant Commissioner for Student Financial Aid Programs. Dr. Pools joined the coordinating board in March. Welcome, Dr. Pools. Glad you're here, and thank you for presenting.
Thank you. Good morning. As mentioned, I am Charles Pulse, Deputy Assistant Commissioner for Student Financial Aid Programs here at the Coordinating Board, and I served as the agency's representative in the negotiated rulemaking process that was held this past week in relation to the Texas Educational Opportunity Grant Program, TEOG. The General Appropriations Act, as you know, that was recently passed, split the funding for the TEOG program into two separate strategies. One for the public community colleges and one for the public technical and state colleges. With the creation of two separate strategies, new methodologies were needed for the allocation of the appropriations, and all allocation methodologies must include a negotiated rulemaking process. On June 17th, the agency convened a negotiated rulemaking committee with representatives from the public community colleges. The committee reached unanimous consensus on a rule that will allocate funding to each institution based on weighted enrollments, full-time, three-quarter time, and half-time. The committee also proposed and agreed to a hold harmless provision to provide a 2-year transition period during which no institution will receive less than 85% of their prior year allocation. This was done to allow schools to adapt to the new allocation methodology, which does result in some significant changes for a few schools. In your packets, you will see that several sections of the current rule have been struck out and are being removed. Sorry.
We don't seem to have packets. So.
Oh, hold on one second.
Some do.
Everybody's got one? Okay. Anybody else?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't have one. Thank you.
In your packets, you'll see that several sections of the current rule have been struck out and are being removed. These sections related to the LBB rule that was imposed last year and are thus no longer needed. You'll also see one additional sentence added at the very end of the rule. This sentence simply aligns the wording of the rule with the wording of the rider in the General Appropriations Act that allows institutions to transfer funds between programs. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about the negotiated rulemaking process or the resulting rule.
I move approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right. The next item on our agenda is number 4, consideration of adopting the Negotiated Rulemaking Committee's recommendation relating to the allocation methodology for TEOG funds at public technical and state colleges. Once again, Dr. Pools will present, and I'll turn it over to you again.
Okay. On June 18th, the agency convened a second negotiated rulemaking committee, this time with representatives from the public, technical, and state colleges. Once again, unanimous consensus was reached for an allocation methodology. Allocations will be based on weighted enrollments with consideration of tuition levels at each institution. Tuition levels in the methodology are represented by the maximum TEOG award allowable at full-time, three-quarter time, and half-time enrollment. The public, technical, and state colleges did not raise the idea of a hold harmless provision, and thus it is not included in their section of the rules. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. David?
I'd like to compliment our staff and representatives from the institutions on not only getting this past the legislature, but actually fixing it. I think it's the fairest way to deal with a situation that really was not going to have a fair way to come out of this. So I think the fact that everybody worked together well speaks for opportunity for us in the future. And I just want to compliment the staff on working very hard to be able to get this solved really on short notice with the legislature and the members of the legislature for understanding this was a problem that only they could help us solve. So thank you very much.
Good job. All right, thank you. This concludes our special called board meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
A second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned.
At this point, we will convene the